So I just got back from Rentvine's Be Heard event, and it was just like a really different vibe for a conference. I think for one, these user conferences will each have a very different culture, and as we see more and more of them in property management, they're each gonna, I guess they're gonna feel different, right? Like I heard like Folios was like a huge like flex, but this Be Heard conference felt very communal, felt like people rallying around the cause. And it brings me back to this interview I had at NARPM Nationals with Randall Henderson about 6 months ago, where he laid out Rentvine's kind of like philosophy and what makes them different. This idea that they really are listening to property managers and they're building for the future as opposed to preserving the past, I think really stands out in it. This is from NARPM Nationals 6 months ago, and I think the ideas that he shares here are really coming true. So I think it's a good time to revisit this conversation with Randall Henderson, who is just an awesome guy. Enjoy. Welcome to the Property Management Frame Breakers podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Gonzalez, and I am here to introduce you to the folks in the property management space that have broken the frame of what you may believe was possible. This podcast is presented by Vendoroo. It is your all-in-one AI solution for resolving your maintenance needs. Let's go. Randall Henderson, Rentvine.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
What's up, bro?
Long time
you
coming.
Having fun out here?
Long time coming.
Dude, the NARPM energy at National is unlike any other, man.
It's cool.
We love it here.
Tell me about it. What's different about NARPM?
I've always wondered that myself, too, because I didn't realize that I've been to other industry organizations, meetings, tons of them, but at NARPM, it feels like family. It feels like, I don't know if it's, and maybe you haven't thought about this, is it like the brothers in arms? Like everybody's in the trenches. Are we crazy to choose this life as property managers? Yeah. Or is it just, look, we all understand the trials and tribulations that each of us go through, and we're trying to do something a little different. I've noticed that property managers generally, they're a little different kind of folk. And I don't know, people just find each other and they're just this big family feel. I just love NARPM, dude. It's awesome.
I love how stoked you are about it, man.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I was just telling you, I'm a community guy, right?
Yes, you are.
The thesis that I have been following for the last 10 years is community creation for business development. When I see a vibrant community like a NARPM, like we saw at PMI Summit,
sir.
Like all that stuff, like I feel it. I have like the radars out for it, and I understand that it's a force multiplier.
I'm the exact same way. In fact, that's kind of what attracted me to Rentvine was like, there's a lot of tech, there's a lot of software, but really at the end of the day, it comes down to the people involved. And the founders of Rentvine, they were my people. They're people that have built a business on integrity and on listening to the customer.
Yes.
And so I'm like, they're doing something new, they're doing something different, and they're actually listening to the property manager. So everything is about building up the PM, making them more valuable, more important. I'm like, that speaks to me.
Let's talk about new and different, because that's the other thing that I really care about, right? Like
You're a tech guy, I can tell.
Well, it's not so much that I'm a tech guy, I'm a behavioral psychology guy, right? And for me, I've always thought that the more different you are, the more valuable you are to me.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because there's that gap there.
You can find the different viewpoints.
Yeah, everybody has value.
Yeah.
And I find that differentiation when it comes to you stand out more by being different than by trying to be better or worse.
100%.
Right? And when I first heard you on that podcast, I'm like, oh, Rentvine is different.
Yeah.
Right? Like the story I told myself was the story I'm hearing coming from Rentvine was that the property manager has gone through this journey where they were, nobody grew up wanting to be a property manager. Right? All of a sudden, in the last 5 to 10 years, the asset class that they are crucial for has become a major topic of conversation.
Yes.
And that's brought first institutional investment, then VC money, and a whole bunch of people rushing into the space. And there feels like there's an incumbent class of solutions. Then there is a new class of solutions that were made post this. And now there's a whole nother generation of new class of solutions that are taking all the insights from the first class, plus AI, plus all these other things, and going forward. How am I doing?
Love the way you put that. Because I'll give you an example. I was recently at a keynote speech from the founder of Roofstock. Right? Who shared an interesting statistic. In the year 1980, 0% of multifamily was owned by an institution. 0%. But by 2005, that number rose to 75%. And he put up a stat today. What percentage of single family today is owned by institutions? 3%. it's almost nothing.
Yeah.
So we're on the verge, we feel like, of this revolution where SFR becomes more mainstream. We've already seen it. We've already seen big players enter the space, which has put a lot of pressure on the management side, which has then attracted tools, technology, and different kinds of thinking. So I totally agree with that wave of tech.
Yeah.
Rentvine feels like we're leading out in that second or maybe even the third wave of technology that's built specifically for the property manager to make them the key for successful real estate investing.
Totally. As a single family home investor myself that's completely passive, I know that for me, it is time in the game. The longer I own this thing, the more profitable it
100%.
becomes for me.
Yeah.
Without property managers, I can't do it because I don't know
right.
how to plunge a toilet. I'm useless, right? So,
I doubt that.
I mean, I can talk. So specific to the property manager, tell me the difference between specific to the property manager versus everything else and the way that y'all approach
Look,
it.
our mission is to put the manager above all, meaning that we're never going to offer services directly to the tenant, directly to the owner. We're going to try to make that property manager more valuable in every way.
Yeah.
Because we truly believe that third-party management is the key to success in real estate investing.
Yeah.
Try buying out of state and doing it by yourself. You can't do it. And today and nowadays in the industry, you cannot buy in many local markets a cash flowing property. You've got to go to the Midwest. You've got to go to Houston. You've got to go to these cities where you're out of state. You need a manager who's going to make that successful for you. So
100%.
Rentvine's approach has been empower the manager, focus on the manager. Don't worry about servicing the investor, servicing the tenant. The manager is there to do all of those things. Let's give them the best tools, them the best tech, make them look the best in front of their owners.
Totally. So that is same thing that really excited me about joining Vendoroo, right? Like this idea of, man, how do we innovate so that the property manager goes from this like forever firefight of like reactionary things that you have to do all the time to playing offense, providing experiences.
I always say that. In property manager, you have two choices. You can either be Smokey the Bear or you can be a firefighter, right? And it's really hard to wake up every day and be a firefighter. You want to be Smokey. You want to get in front of it, right?
Everybody loves Smokey, bro. Everybody loves Smokey.
But the technology piece is interesting because Rentvine's approach has been to open up, understanding that much in tech is disjointed for property managers. It's really a hard experience. And you look around this room, here we are in the vendor hall with about 100 tech companies, right? Each of those is built for solving some small solution. And our approach has been open up our business, open up our platform and our tech to allow everyone to play in our space. Let the property manager dictate what their stack looks like and what tech they need. Make it easy for everyone to use all pieces within Rentvine.
I love that. Opening up everything is a radically different approach.
Yes,
right?
It is. Yes.
And it's a radically different approach. It's like for you guys, it's a radically different approach in the space, but it's also on trend with where technology has gone.
Agreed.
Right? We grew up, I assume you're around my age, early 40s?
I think I've got you a little bit. I'm 47.
Well, you just look good, brother. You just
Thank
look
you.
good.
Thank you.
So we grew up in a world where gatekeepers ruled.
Yes, 100%.
But Gen Z and Gen Alpha have grown up in a world where Tesla open sourced everything from the beginning.
It's wild.
So it's the playbook, right?
You choose what you want to choose. I call them the subscription generation.
Yes.
Gen Alpha they're not going to pay for things that they don't need. They're going to want to subscribe and unsubscribe from things that they are using or not using. That's been our approach with the software.
Interesting. Tell me more. That can't be easy, right?
No.
Like when you're like, hey man, open source it, most people are like, right?
Yeah, it's just I don't even know how to put it. It's more of a philosophy shift where you're like, openness is a choice, building something that everyone can access is a choice. And it only takes about 5 minutes of looking at the industry and looking at 100 different property management company with 1,000 different ways to do the business to realize that there is no standard playbook for PMs.
Yes.
They are doing so many things with so many partners so differently. So rather than lock people in, we're going to try to just say, there's a place where your owner has to get their statements and receive their information about their property, transfer money, whatever. That's the portal. We're the trust accounting people. We're the property management tech partner you can trust. But beyond that, you decide who plays and how they work in your business. You run it the way you want to. It also speaks to our pricing model too, right? We don't have layers of pricing. In other words, we don't charge anybody in this room or anybody in the space to integrate. It's all included. It's all free. So a one-time per-door cost gets you access to limitless technology partners who can build and take and give within Rentvine.
The infinite context of like property management, right? Like the so many variables,
Yeah.
right? Like to me, it's like there's two ends of it. There is the idea of you got to build it to suit, which is you're building that like infrastructure for it. And then there is the how do you synthesize all this information
100%.
and make it easy to understand, which is where I think AI plays, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
totally agree.
Yeah, and that's like I say to me, AI is the part where it's like it automates the mundane and it makes the invisible visible,
Oh, that's
right? So like
interesting. I
whatever
like
you
that.
don't need to do,
Yeah.
that's just like a task.
Yeah.
It can end up doing that and
That's
increase your
right.
capacity.
Yeah.
And then whatever you need to really understand quickly, you'd insert AI and it paints the picture.
Well, and we've had to hire a millennial to help us translate AI into what it looks like in an everyday property management setting. And so I think it's easy. There are some low hurdles, easy to clear hurdles in AI, automated responses, automated searches, fuzzy matches for global search, things like that. And then there's like truly things that are cutting edge, writing content or routing tenants to the right place, maybe even starting a work order. Rentvine recently launched a feature where, you'll be able to speak very shortly. You'll be able to speak to Rentvine and say, hey, please add a bill to this tenant for this amount. And it's going to pop all of that up. AI is going to pull the right tenant. And then you have a chance to check it and then click, yeah, that's right, submit. So we feel like there's opportunities. I don't want to go crazy all in on AI because I want to be careful and make sure that we never lose the human element.
100%.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, just to kind of like put a bun on what you were saying, the way that the AI is built really, really matters. It's not just AI for AI's sake, right? Like what it's meant to do. And the interface is the other thing that matters, right? So like being able to speak to it, whatever. To me, I agree. I think AI is meant to enhance the human.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
Love
not
that.
meant to replace the
more
human.
efficient.
It's the old term, right? Like AI is not going to take your job. Somebody using AI is going to take your job, right?
That's right.
Same thing, right? It's meant to enhance you. Here's something else I want to test with you before we get out of here. It feels to me that based on these categorical shifts that have happened in the vendor space.
Yeah.
If I am a property manager that started 10 years ago, 7 years ago,
Wow.
I have built myself on an infrastructure that is now 3 generations deep, and I'm vulnerable to the property manager that's starting to build today that is seeing these native tools that are made for me, natively built with AI, and that David versus Goliath story is going to play out in the industry. So like, I'm looking at the big property managers saying, you need to go into a room and think, if we started over today, how would we start?
Absolutely.
And what do we need to do right now? And I'm looking at the small guys and saying, dude, make this happen right now, because
totally
this
agree.
generational shift is going to happen. Is that what you're seeing?
I totally agree. And I think that today's investor, if you interview them versus the investor from 20 years ago, it's a totally different profile.
Correct.
They have different desires, different needs. And if you're delivering something that's 20 years old, 15, even 10 years old, even 7 years old, as you said, you're probably not meeting the needs of the investor of today. I know many millennials who are buying investment property prior to buying their own private residence. It's incredible.
Yeah, that was me.
So what you're looking for in a property manager, what you're looking for in a tech stack is totally different, and it's got to be modern. It's got to be built today, or it's got to be open so that you can plug the technology that you want to do. And that's kind of our philosophy. We hope we can continue like leading the way in that.
I love it, dude. I love it. Last personal piece of advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am, I don't know how much you know my backstory, but I am right now diving all in into this space,
Love
right?
it.
Like I'm leaving my marketing agency behind. I'm going in-house with Vendoroo.
Congratulations.
Like I'm dedicating myself because I see in giant context shifts are giant opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
Like context shifts creates a new missing, which creates a need for innovation where the big prize is big, right?
Couldn't have said it better.
What advice would you give to me entering this space to be successful, man? In like the software space, in the property management space, in this industry, like what is it?
I love that. I love it. It's going to sound trite, and it's going to call back what we've kind of already discussed, but understanding today's client, understanding the customer is the most important thing you can do as a business. You need to shape your decisions around servicing what they need. For Rentvine, our client is the property manager. Their client is the owner and the tenant. That's the one who they're servicing. Our goal is to make them more powerful and empower them. I think we were talking off camera just a little bit ago about kind of the idea of making other people successful around you and how that elevates you, and that also keeps you grounded. So that would be my advice. Continue to make others around you successful. I know you have a history of that, so you're on the right track, man. I look forward to seeing you do great things.
Worth the wait, brother.
Thanks,
Thank
Pablo.
you, bro.
All right, man.